All right, we're back at the top 16 pod number 4. We have Malcolm Vial Smasher versus Evelyn versus Tymna Thrasios versus Malcolm Kediss. We have a guest here casting with me. It's Captain Complicated. How's it going?
Pretty good day so far.
Good. Yeah.
Turning card sideways always like gets you excited, you know, like just kind of gets you in the mood for some like. I have no idea where I was going with that, but I was obviously going somewhere.
Somewhere fun. What are you thinking about this pod? Who do you think has the advantage here?
Evelyn.
Evelyn? Okay. Why do you think that?
Because I've never heard of her before. What does she do?
So she is a vampire. She costs 5 mana. It's like 2 generic and then Grixis, but the Grixis could also be black. So it also has flash. When you cast it, you'll exile the top card of everyone's library, and then you are able to play those cards. So
you had me at vampire.
So usually what you want to do is like there's some World Gorger loops where you make infinite mana and then infinitely bounce your commander in and out of play, which will exile everyone's library.
Nice.
Also, just straight up Oracle Consult or Breach lines as well.
Yeah, Breach, Freeze, and Lions on Diamond. That combo, right?
Yep, it's
Speaking of that combo, there's a couple decks at this table that probably have it in there, right? Kediss Malcolm.
Yeah.
Probably has that combo in there.
Probably are on Breach. Probably, well, everyone except Tymna Thrasios.
Tymna Thrasios. It'd be kind of hard for them to be on Breach, but so Tymna Thrasios, what's that deck looking to do?
Tymna Thrasios. There's so many things it could be doing. It could be on Hermit Druid. Could be a Hulk list. I think this list is actually a list from Jamaican Dude, which is it's a Hulk list that tries to get in the breakfast combo of Cephalid, Illusionist, and Nomad's Encore to mill your library, and then you also put Ka0s Oracle into play with the Hulk trigger, so you just win on top of that.
Nice.
It's like everyone has their mulligans.
Looks like we're all on 7 too, so that's good.
Yeah, good start.
That's good. Malcolm Vial Smasher, and then you have a Malcolm Kediss deck. Like, what is the true differences between these two? Like, why would you pick one over the other?
With the Vial Smasher, you get all the good stuff that Black brings in with tutors. Ooh, we've got a Mana Crypt and Jeweled Lotus.
And fetch land.
Turn 1 Malcolm here. So Black, it gives you all the tutors, ad naus.
I guess with Kediss you get the extra treasures from the pirates doing damage.
Yeah, does that it's like when you hit your opponents, it hits everyone at the same time?
It hits everyone else, yeah. So whenever a commander you control does combat damage, it deals that much damage to everybody else. So if you hit one, Kediss, it hits the other 2, and so instead of 1 treasure, you'll get 3 treasures.
Pretty good start here. See if they have anything else to do with the 3 mana that they have open.
3 mana left open, turn 1 Malcolm. I mean, you can do turn 1 Ristic Study, Mystical War, any of that stuff would be good here.
Or some sort of tutor, maybe, as
well. Yeah, tutors would be good. Vampire's already falling behind, and they're starting to kind of make me sad. That is a pretty art on that mana trip, though.
Yeah, I like that.
You know, like I like the old school border, but I just like the really cool art of that one. Are we like at the turn order or something?
I think we might have just missed a land pass from Evelyn and
land
then
pass.
land
Turn 1
Esper.
Esper Center.
I feel like
Yeah.
that Mana Crypt art should actually be Mana Vault. It's just my opinion on the way that it looks.
You
It
know,
looks like someone is opening a vault. But I guess
yeah,
crypts and
kinda.
vaults are kind of the same thing.
It's like a crypt that's like opening from the inside out. Like, look at all this energy. There's zombies coming, and then the zombies turns out to be pirates, and everybody's disappointed.
People love pirates these days.
Everybody loves pirates. Oh, looks
Also,
like we're gonna get another turn 1 Malcolm.
Get a Esper trigger, probably. Wonder if we'll get some sort of end of turn thing here from Jit.
Wonder what they're talking about at this moment, because no, probably just table talk. Just
Get my Malcolm. I have one too.
Yeah. It's kind of weird that you'd have a turn 1 play though, and then do nothing with 3 mana.
Yeah,
That might mean he might be set back a little bit. Maybe he didn't have a.
Maybe he has a counter spell that he's sitting on if he needs to use. Chromox?
True. Pitching.
Rid of a Dispel.
Blue card. Yeah.
We're gonna have also a Kediss, I think costs 2 mana. We can have a Malcolm Kediss on turn 1, would be good.
He's got Glinthorn mana too.
Oh, nope, must have been just a Chrome Pass. Land Git Probe.
Get Texian
Esper.
Probe. Wonder who he's targeting here.
I mean, you could target Biscuit to see if they have the Glinthorn in hand. You could
Target Jeff for
target-
interaction. He's been drawing quite a
target
few
Evelyn.
cards.
Maybe they have a combo in hand as well. Oh, looks like that's what they did.
Dark
Got a Dark
Ritual, Vamp Tutor, Dolthy, Land, Op Agent, Underworld Breach, Ledger Shredder? Is that what that card is? Yeah, Ledger
Yep. That is a spicy hand.
Shredder. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Could Vamp Tutor into LED and play Land Breach LED and crack it, and then
Start casting all kinds of spells, yeah. It's a potential turn to win there. It's a very good target for Vocals here.
three of something. Probably tell the table what's that you saw with the Git probe, and that that you're not the threat anymore. That the other person should actually be the threat.
That seems like a really good play here. I mean, if you have a Git rope and you see a hand like that, you gotta say something about it, because if you don't, you potentially got a problem on your hands. Ooh, is that Jessica's Will?
Yep.
Jessica's Will and Joe's got a full grip over there with all the mess% ultra.
Yeah. Yep.
He's probably at what, 9 cards now? 8 cards?
Yeah, somewhere in there. At 6 after playing 2, and then got fed 2.
Got 1 from the Chromox, 1 from the Git probe. Plus his card per turn -2, so that would 10 minus 2 would be.
Oh my goodness.
Whew.
Heuristic Study and Demonic Tutor.
Nice. That's what you call a hit right there, man.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Usually whenever Jessica's Will, I hit like land counter spell.
I was
We have the spell skite.
I was playing Yuriko a couple days ago, and one of my opponents was at like 4, and I hit with 3 ninja triggers, and I'm like, watch, land, 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 and I got land Chromox, and then it was the 1-drop enabler. I can't remember what card it was. It's like, yeah, 3 cards hit for 1. Time Twister.
So we've got the protection with the spell skite. We've got the Heuristic Study to draw more cards. We've got 2 mana floating.
Demonic
D-Tutor exiled and a Twister to refill your hand.
That's pretty explosive second turn here, man.
Yeah.
This game might not last all that long.
Well, according to the VOD, we have another hour and a half to go, so strap yourself in.
Damn. Maybe without my seatbelt.
Vamp Tutor in response?
I mean, I guess it makes sense. This is the only real place you can play.
You'll shuffle it away. It won't matter.
Oh, that's right. It won't matter. So why did he pick up his land there? Oh.
I think he was about to cast a spell and then
he's like,
took it back.
It's going to get shuffled away anyway, so it don't matter. He might as well not.
Yeah. Dark Writ. Oppo. Okay.
Nice. Shuts off that Demonic Tutor in exile.
True, yeah.
And it gets value out of the cards he otherwise wouldn't get value out of.
We're gonna have also a Chain of Vapor. What is it gonna target? What would you target here?
Me? The only thing, I wouldn't cast Chain. I mean, you got a Spellskite on the board, so it really doesn't matter what you target here. Just Spellskite's gonna get hit. Yeah. If you try to target anything on Vocal's board, Esper Sentinel's not doing anything. The opposition agent's helping you. So if you're gonna cast a Chain of Vapor, you really just want to get rid of the Spellskite.
Like that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, that's the only really, because if you target anything else, they're just gonna pay 2 life anyways, because they want Malcolm on board. They want everything else on board.
So watch everyone shuffle their decks.
Yeah, proper randomization is key. So we got an opposition agent that's shutting off the Demonic Tutor. He's played his Ancient Tomb for turn, so there's no more land per turn. 2 red mana floating from Jessica's Will. What do you think he's hoping for in this Time Twister hand?
I'd love a Malcolm. That'd be wonderful. Maybe a fast rock and then some interaction so you can respond to someone else trying to win the game.
Oh, I meant vocals. Like, what does vocals want out of this Time Twister?
Yeah, I'd probably want like a mana rock and then like a counter spell, or just have Glinthorn in your hand to get around to you. Or next turn you untap and then just play a red source.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Oof. Ooh, Dark Side, but it's not a very powerful Dark Side. I only can.
Yeah, it'll fix your mana from having only black and blue to be able to make red for your
for your Glinthorn, and it also allows you to hold up interaction here. It's basically a 2 for 2 kind of thing. Like it's paying for itself, but
yeah,
no added
you
value.
Have the Jessica's Will mana.
Yeah, the mana value here is gonna come from being able to cast all your spells. Yeah, I was looking up Spellskite to make sure he can, like, maybe he could have targeted the Heuristic Study, and I guess maybe that would have been the better play, because then you would have at least make him pay 2 life to swap it over.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I wasn't watching the life total, so I don't know if that was the target or not.
It could be, considering he's at 33 and hasn't been hit.
We got a Dockside and a pass. Evelyn has a Scalding Tarn.
Very good Time Twister, considering that hand we just saw from the Evelyn. If he had let him untap with that hand, that would have been really, really bad.
Yeah.
Lotus Petal, artifact spell, so Esper doesn't trigger. Opposition Agent being one-sided is so good. It's one of the best cards in the format as far as stacks is concerned.
I missed the Hull Breacher.
You missed Hull Breacher? I wasn't around then. I heard it was very, very, very bad, but I wasn't around there.
Yeah, it was the same set as the Op Agent. Commander Legends 1, I think.
I believe so. I'll verify it real quick.
3 mana for a Rhystic Study. You want to pay for my Rhystic Study?
Commander Legends 1. That is correct. Yeah, Hull Breacher, I heard that card was very devastating when it was out. I heard it wasn't out very long. One of the quick...
Yeah, I liked it because it would shut off all these Rhystic Studies from drawing cards.
Yeah, but it... Didn't it, like, stop your first draw on your draw step, too, or...?
I don't remember how it's worded, but I don't think so. What does it say?
Except for the first one, they draw on each of their draw steps.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. I guess the main reason it got taken care of was because of, like, wheels, you know, Windfall, Wheel of Fortune, Time Twister.
Yeah.
Forcing your opponent to draw and then just winning the game off the mana they give you.
So we had a Cradle Pass.
Or you could just put a Hull Breacher out with the Chains of Mephistopheles and then, you know, everybody's sad. Oh, what's that kind of light going on? Joe's giving us a light show over there.
Is that a rave?
It could be. He is playing Magic after all. He's got 4 colors in his deck to represent all the lights going on in the background. Sounds good to me.
Mana for a Kediss.
Malcolm flies, so he's got 2 open attacks right here. He can get 3 treasures.
Probably swing at legit here.
That would be a reasonable choice, yeah. Considering his board state.
Got the most mana and the card draw.
Looks like there's some table talk going on right now.
Looks like there's Rhystic Study triggers. They're asking who has the most cards because I might pay for one of them. And then they're saying, no, don't pay for mine, pay for his.
The infamous fight over the Rhystic Studies.
I mean, it really doesn't matter who you swing at because it's going to hit everyone anyway.
Right.
I guess if the Kediss gets removed here, I'd probably swing at legit. Although Evelyn's not a bad target.
Evelyn's probably... What color was Evelyn again? You said Grixis. So
Grixis?
Yeah. Almost certainly on Adnaz over there. Almost certainly. Wait, everybody took 2, so who did we attack? We'll never know. We can only speculate.
Yep.
I think the pirate was fighting the vampire. That's what I'm gonna go with.
Who do you think would win? The vampires or pirates?
Absolutely, the vampire, 100%.
Yeah.
Pirates ain't got a chance.
What if they were undead pirates?
Oh, if they were undead pirates, then we'd have an issue. We'd have a fight on our hands. Depends on what time of day it is. So, because the vampires would just have to leave it when the light came out. So, like, what's the scenario? Are the vampires like storming the town of the undead pirates, or is it like the pirates storming the town of the undead vampires? You know, paint the scene for me, Kahlua. Paint the scene. Oh, look, there's a dwarf.
You can, find out more in Kahlua's new DM module that's coming out about the vampires versus the undead pirates.
Careful, your audience might hold you to that.
Join my Patreon.
Patreon exclusive
out more there.
content. I love how your volume dipped out when you were telling people how to do that, so they couldn't actually find out more.
Yeah. I'll put a link somewhere. Link on my Twitter. You can find it there. So we have a Magda. Only one treasure though. You can't go find Niv just yet.
Artifact or Dragon Guard. That's probably why that deck's in there for Niv Mizzet, huh?
Yep. 3 mana for a Maskwood Nexus. It'll turn all your creatures into pirates.
Nice.
Or maybe they'll be changelings, so they'll be dwarves as well. So when you tap them, they will make treasures from Magda.
Changeling is not a creature type, it's a keyword ability. So like,
yes, I think so. They gain all creature types.
Yeah.
Is it?
So you can't like name. I don't think Changeling's a creature type.
I think changeling is a creature type because there's like.
Oh, shapeshifter is a creature type.
Or shapeshifter, yeah, shapeshifter.
Yeah.
So this could be a Magda activation. You hit with Malcolm. Also swing with Dockside. You'll get 3. Oh, okay. You're 1 short.
Yeah, you'd get 2 treasures. No, you get 1 from each pirate.
Yeah, 1 for each hitting. And then 1 from each from Magda when they tap.
Oh, yeah.
So you would need the Dockside to hit to get to 5, I think. I don't know. Math.
Math is for blockers.
Doesn't look like there's a good attack for the Dockside right now. If the Dockside could hit... Oh, we've got an Abrupt Decay. What is it targeting? Looking at Heuristic Study. We're going to draw. Each person's going to draw. Now,
so much card draw.
Legit is... It's like legit is politicking on what the target should be.
Probably.
What would you target here?
If I had the Abrupt Decay, what would I target?
Magda.
Magda's interesting. You gotta shut him off card draw though. Do you really care if he has a Magda here?
He can get to 5 treasures, and I guess he has to get rid of the Oppo as well.
Yeah, the opposition agent.
To be able to search.
Opposition agent still out. Niv Mizzet win the game from here?
Not unless they have Curiosity or the other thing that Soul binds with it.
Yeah, one of those Curiosity effect enchantments.
Yeah, there's like a creature that does it as well. Oh, looks like... Okay, so we were gonna Abrupt Decay the Magda in response to the Nexus. And then a Mana Drain came out targeting the Nexus as well. Very interesting.
So they didn't let them Maximum Nexus resolve. That's
No,
probably good.
Looked like it. Yeah. It's gonna be a swing in on Joe with the Dockside. He's not gonna block with the Esper.
Yeah, I thought so. Just looking up the Changeling thing. I was curious exactly.
What'd you find out?
Changeling is a characteristic defining ability, not a creature type. So you can't name.
And then Shapeshifter is the creature.
You can name Shapeshifter, but it'll be a Shapeshifter and it won't have the characteristic defining ability of Changeling. Weird, right? But I guess it makes the game fair too, because if you can name every creature type on all those cards would be a lot better than they are. And they're to be fair, they're already pretty good.
Let's see what is coming up next with Evelyn.
Vampire's turn.
They drew quite a few cards with the Ristic Study, so
Well, they just grabbed their library.
they have something.
Bloodstained Mire looks like.
Yeah, fetch.
Yeah. Guy is created with one creature.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah.
That's very rough.
Very, very rough. You play crop rotation because the guy's created you put into play, you got one. Tymna Thrasios is kind of running a little slow today.
Yeah, I'm worried that Joe just might, like, Thrasios pass. Like, land Thrasios pass. That'd be the worst, probably. But it's really hard. You've got two people with Ristic Studies. Like, anything you do is just going to feed them cards.
Yeah, especially when you're that stuck on mana, you know. You could always do land Tymna,
Yeah.
and no, because he doesn't even have a good attack if he does that. So that doesn't help him. Looks like you're really, really far behind. So, like, what would you, like, ideally, like, if you could top deck anything right now, what would you be looking for Joe?
Straight up Oracle Consult, or...
Even with Oracle Console, you don't have the mana to cast it right now.
Yeah, that's true. Another dock
Maybe
side.
your own Ristic Study.
Yeah. I mean, even if you do that, you're going to be land and then tapping out for Ristic Study. You're really far behind here.
Yeah, really far behind. I've found in situations when I'm playing games when I'm like that, I was like, I just want to draw cards. Like, I'm so far behind that it doesn't matter. And the best part about that is, like, when you're so far behind it doesn't matter. Sometimes people will sleep on you and just let you draw all these cards because they don't care. And then all of a sudden you'll just win out of nowhere sometimes. So maybe that's the only play here for him.
He had, like, breakfast combo in hand. You could, like, land, Illusionist, Nomad's Encore, mill your library, and then sacrifice your 3 creatures there to Dread Return.
Nice.
That's like pipe dream, though. That's not gonna happen.
Yeah, he could be on the Hermit passes too, like you said.
Dockside, and they're trying to politic on who's gonna crack their treasures, it looks like.
Yeah, it looks like we got like 2 cracked, and then we got a Chrome Mox.
Biscuit says, I'll crack one if you crack one.
So we got some mana floating, priority passing. 11. Is that what that says?
8?
Yeah, 8. I blame it on my bad eyes. Mana Vault. That's pretty good right now. We got a Simian Spirit that got exiled, a Mana Drain that countered a Maskwood, so they'll get 3 more mana their turn. Another Esper Sentinel trigger. Players really taking a lot of time here to focus on the on all the triggers they're doing. They're really like thinking about every single card of letting somebody draw. They're really maximizing their thought and their effort put into this. You can tell that they're just really trying hard to do the best that they can to make sure they give them the best chance of success. Even though we all know the vampires are going to win in the end.
I talked with Joe a little bit, and he said this game there's a lot of politicking going on. So I think we've only just seen the top of the iceberg of the politicking that's going on.
Yeah, I was actually sitting on this game towards the end of it, you know, because I was the judge.
Oh, were you?
Yeah, because I was the judge for the tournament. And towards the end of it, like, I was sitting on some other ones at the beginning, but this pod, like, the top 16, the first 3 games ended in like 30 minutes. This game went for like an hour and a half. You know, it was so like there was just a bunch of us just bored to death watching this game, and then we were like, "Could you please hurry up?" Ooh, Image, Phantasmal Image. What do you want? more dockside mana here?
So
You're gonna feed the fish? Not the fish, but feed the study hall. Keep feeding cards.
yeah, I don't know. If I would have.
Unless you really need that mana though.
Yeah, I mean you were at like what was it, 8 treasures or something?
Yeah, you're at 8 treasures, and you play it, you'll get another 8.
Yeah, but I think well, I guess you got the Ristic Study to draw cards, but I might have held back on the image for another turn.
Yeah, because you don't have another. Well, no, you only have one more dockside to worry about it.
Discarded Wheel for turn? Oh my goodness.
Well, if he discarded Wheel for turn, then he's. So what did Image copy here? He didn't get treasures.
Didn't get maybe Malcolm?
Either that or an Esper Sentinel. Okay, so
I mean, if you had a wheel in hand, I might have just made more treasures and then wheeled.
Yeah. But apparently he likes his hand enough to cast a Image, not copy a dockside. So if you don't copy dockside here, what are you copying?
I mean,
the only
you don't need more mana, so Malcolm's not gonna do a whole lot.
The only card that makes sense here would be Esper Sentinel.
Yeah, I guess.
You know, like, obviously Dockside is the choice that I would make, but
a second Oppo to really make sure people don't see it.
Nah, I guess that's out there, but it's reasonable, I guess.
Guess we'll see if he draws a card from
the spell.
Zone Esper Sentinel here or not.
Did he play his land upside down? It is upside down. Look at that.
It is exerted.
Like a boss, Joe the boss. You turn your cards upside down when they're exerted too.
Is that what you're supposed to do? I don't. That's how I've seen people do it.
That's how I did it when I was playing Amonkhet Standard. The only standard I ever won was an Amonkhet, because like I figure like if I untap it, I'll just turn it 90 degrees and then it'll be tapped like it's supposed to be.
Is there like an official, as a judge, what you're supposed to do with your card?
No, as long as it's marked, it's marked. Like I believe, if I recall correctly, it was years ago, but I believe like some of the Amonkhet packs had those little pop out stuff, and one of them would say like exerted that you can put on the creature. You know what I'm saying? So like you just need some kind of counter or something to denote it. So you can get like a piece of paper, write exerted, and just put it on there, and it will let you know that it's exerted. And then, but like as a judge, it's basically like as long as everybody knows what's going on, you can basically do it however you want to. You know, like you don't have to use dice for everything. Like if you want a luck counter, you can like actually make luck counters, and if it's got 7, you can put 7 individual luck counters on there. You know, like that's fine too.
I think if I had a wheel in hand, I would have made a second dockside and then wheeled, and just lived the Grixis dream of wheeling and dealing.
Well, he's got a stacked hand, obviously. I mean, there's a reason he didn't cast that Wheel of Fortune there, but like you said, I mean, that better.
He's got,
but at the same time, if that's a stacked hand, why are you not making treasures with Dockside to keep going? You know, like.
Yeah. What is in your hand that you can't do anything with for 8 mana?
You can't even do free interaction because you don't even have Evelyn on board. You know what I'm saying? So you don't have Fierce Guardianship, you don't have Deadly Relic, you don't have Deflecting Spot. You know, you don't have none of that. I mean, even if you have...
It's like Joe went land pass and... sorry, I cut you off there.
Land pass. I mean, even if you have Force Will, it's like the only free interaction you have, you still want more mana to do, like, you know, Dispel and all that other stuff, but that... The only land he has untapped in the treasures is probably enough for that, but I still don't know why you don't copy Dockside here. Because also, if you have a stacked up hand not to wheel, why do you need more cards?
Yeah, I'm not sure what they could have that would Either stop them from keep going or...
There's no relevant stacks piece here. Oh, is that a consecrated sphinx?
I believe so. I think it's
Ooh.
some sort of
Yeah, that's a consecrated sphinx. I remember this play. Yes.
promo art.
Yeah, that is a consecrated sphinx. So all these Ristics and Esper Sentinels all of a sudden become a little bit more dangerous. So keeping track of that's going to give us a nightmare.
Ooh, cat. I have to call a judge. A game state violation there. Board state. I don't know.
One of my friends played at an LGS, and the LGS owner kept a cat, and they had like a house rule that if the cat jumped on a table, whatever permanents the cats touched were destroyed.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So he would have just lost the game right there. Just a little house rule for fun. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
If that was the rule, I'd have to bring over some catnip or something for the cat to keep him off my board.
There's two cats, okay, and one of them was like when it jumped on the table, whatever it touched was destroyed, and then there's another one, and I can't remember what the other cat was. I can't remember what he told me it was, but there was something with the other cat too.
Alright, so we had a Ka0s Sphinx pass, untapped land.
Yeah, you gotta be very careful with all these Ristic study triggers, because my biscuit's gonna get drawn cards.
You, what are your thoughts on drawing anyway and letting the Ka0s Sphinx draw too?
For biscuit?
Yeah, like if you were, if you had these Ristic studies in play.
Yeah, well, fortunately for Joe, his hands are tied. He doesn't have a choice because Esper Sentinel is not a May trigger. But as far as the Ristic and stuff for both players, I guess it really just depends on what you have in play, and it also depends on what's going on. Because like,
Oh, hold on.
if you start
Sorry. Did he play? Okay, you can't do that. Yeah. Okay.
he plays.
He's trying to, I think, imprint a Bolas's Citadel underneath a Chromox, which you can't do.
Yeah, it's an artifact. Yeah, but what I'm saying is, like, with the Ristic triggers, you have to keep an eye on what Vocals is trying to do, okay? Because you don't want to feed Biscuit cards, but at the same time, if Vocal starts threatening a win, you want to feed Biscuit's cards because he's the only one that can keep you in the game. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to play back and forth here. You know, like you will draw some Ristics, you won't draw some others. It just depends. Like if you start storming out, you're gonna be like, here, draw, find something to help us out. And then if he ends up just kind of doing a little stuff, you're like, no, don't draw, because you want to give him. You have to give him cards, but you want to limit the amount you give him. That's a Wandering Archaic.
Yep.
Ooh.
Couldn't tell what card was exiled underneath the Chromox.
That is an Underworld.
Oh,
Breach.
is it?
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Wonder why you do that instead of just tapping one of your lands.
Possibly because of colors. He might need that. He might need those other colors for blue or for black for later. That's a Mystical Tutor. Esper Sentinel trigger. Politics.
I'd be like, all right, you've got a Ristic Study, you've got a Wandering Archaic, you have Malcolm. I mean,
You have a Consecrated Sphinx. Do you want to pay for Wandering Archaic? You got a very complicated stack here, you know, because you got the Esper Sentinel trigger, you got the Wandering Archaic, you got targeting the Mystical Tutor, you got your own Ristic, and then you got the Consecrated Sphinx trigger. And this is where it gets very hairy.
yeah, I think the only person here that has any leeway to politic is Joe, because he's so far behind everyone else.
Yeah, he's got leeway to politic, and on top of that, like, he cannot not be the consecrated Sphinx. Like,
Yeah.
he has no choice but to let the Sphinx draw too. So he just kind of got his hands crossed because he can't really do a whole lot. But if he's got a really good tongue, maybe he can talk the other players into kind of playing poorly, you know.
Buccaneer?
That's a Glenthorn. That is a Glenthorn Buccaneer. That is a very positive game state for Mr. Vocals here.
Okay, so was the Mystical Tutor cast, or was it just revealed? I'm not sure what happened there.
It must not have been cast. It must have been taken back, maybe? Maybe the pod allowed a take back? Because neither one of them search the libraries. But I guess, you know, like, at this point, for the vampire, you don't care if the pirate goes searching, because you're going to go searching for the vampire. Which means the vampires are attacking the undead pirates. We have figured that out now.
I was trying to follow you, but you lost me there.
So. we have figured it out.
At this point, they're all telling each other that they should be the one to respond to this bucket.
I believe this is like when I stepped in for slow play at some point here. I'm like, look, guys, you gotta progress the board state here. You know what I mean?
You're gonna make the Malcolm Kediss player do it?
He's doing something. Tap mana. Dress down. Very good response. You got a Ristic Study trigger for the vocals. You got a Ristic Study trigger for... I don't want to pronounce that name wrong, so I'm just going to say the vampire. And then you got an Esper Sentinel trigger. Consecrated Sphinx trigger. This stack makes my head hurt.
Offer.
An offer you can't refuse. Targeting the dress down. Mental misstep. Targeting the offer, most likely. But we gotta pay for the Wonder Archaic, otherwise it's not gonna matter.
Yep.
So this is when the politics get real. Right?
Yeah, this is
this is very...
I think it's
because do you want the dress down to resolve though? You know what I mean? Like, you have to think, like, because if dress down resolves, guess what happens? Opposition agent no longer works.
Yeah.
It opens up Vocal's deck to all the search that he could possibly have in his hand, you know, like the gambles and all that other good stuff. It also turned off the Consecrated Sphinx, so like... So you won't be able to draw into more interaction. At the same time, you want the Consecrated Sphinx to be turned off because you don't want to get to keep drawing cards like he has been. Oh, look, miscast. Am I the only one still tilted by the upside down hand?
Yeah, I think it's just I'm more tilted that the top two people are facing down instead of also facing up. That's my
See, this is how I do it. Like when I do spell stuff, I make sure the top two are facing me and the bottom two are facing them, just like you know, it would be like at a table of four. You know, like so to me, this is all natural.
I don't like trying to read cards upside down.
Yeah, that's fair too. That's fair too. If we ever get in a game together, remind me to turn my cards upside down. So like if your video is flipped, like and then halfway through, I'll just turn them back. So you have to keep flipping your video back and forth. Like, what are you doing? I'm messing with Clue's mind. I'm getting an advantage. Leave me alone.
Have you ever seen like a person playing like sideways? Like they're instead of being in front of the table, they're like on the side of the table, and then they play their things like at a sideways direction. It's crazy if you've ever seen someone try and do that.
I have seen it, and like I was.
What are you doing? Why?
I haven't even played. I wasn't playing in those games, so I was very thankful for that. But then I remember I was playing Modern against some random dude at a shop, and like he was playing lands in front. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, put your lands back where they go.
Or like, if you've ever played with Deke, he like has his graveyard on the opposite side of his library. So, instead of going like library graveyard, it's like top left is library, bottom right is graveyard.
I can
handle it.
Like I know, like when I've seen people play a dredge, they like to put their graveyard like laid out behind their lands, so they can keep track of everything that's in their graveyard because it's a lot easier for them. I've seen stuff like that. But see, like me, I have my library on the right, and I specifically put my commanders up on the left, and I leave all that there for all the Dothy cards I'm bound to get, because like I play that card in every damn deck.
It's a Mind Break Trap. Guessing you'll just exile everything on the stack. And a SWAT.
Or not.
Wow.
You got that deflecting SWAT, targeting the Mind Break Trap, going against trying to get rid of the offer you can't refuse to let dress down resolve. They really want that dress down to resolve here.
Yeah, I mean, if the dress down doesn't resolve, you're gonna have a Malcolm Buccaneer going into combat to win the game. SWAT resolves.
SWAT resolves. Dress down.
Change the target. Now, when you have a spell that targets multiple things, you still have to have the same number of targets. Is that correct? When you SWAT it, or do you get to change the number of targets that are declared?
I'm gonna check it out real quick. You may choose new targets for target spell abilities, so you can change all of them. But when you change them, they all still have to be legal targets. But you don't have to change all of them.
You can change the targets, but can you change the number of targets? I don't believe so.
No,
okay.
You cannot. Yeah, so once the spell's cast, its mode and the number of targets and all that is chosen. You can't redistribute damage and all that stuff, but you can just change the targets.
So even if you cast this Mind Break Trap, target every spell on the stack, you could only... It still has to hit everything, but if you SWAT, you can SWAT one away from the Buccaneer, I think would be...
Right, you could swap the one that's targeting the Buccaneer to the SWAT.
Yeah. Well, this is quite the game so far.
Quite the board state too. This is
Oh, we're halfway done.
Yeah, it's giving me a headache just watching this. I can only imagine what it's like playing this game. Like, you're in here making all these decisions, and you have all this board state stuff, and it's like, man, this is like Magic at its highest level. So you gotta be really, 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 really good to be able to handle kind of stuff like this, you know? Dress Down is still on the stack, by the way, in case you guys watching the video aren't following along. I say that as soon as they're like, no, it's not on the stack anymore. I'm just gonna get us rid of this.
So he swatted it, hit the Dress Down.
Offer fizzles.
And also the offer, yeah.
Yeah, the offer fizzles, so he don't.
Oh, fizzles, yeah.
Well, it should have, so he doesn't get the mana, the treasures.
What is that?
It looks like Chain of Vapor, I think. Is that what that is? I'm not sure.
I think it's the counter spell from New Capenna that has like, you have to like sack a creature to get.
Well, if that's the case, he should sack a creature. It doesn't look like Chain of Vapor art.
Yeah, so I think when the spell resolves, you can sack a creature to... Oh, we're gonna see.
Slip out the bag.
Oh no. Oh my goodness, it's not what I thought.
+1/+1 counter target creature phases out. Yeah, slip out the bag. You were right about New Capenna though.
Yeah. Wrong spell, but...
It's a pretty cool card though, you know, because now You probably... Who would you hit here with slip out the back? I know, so I don't want to tell you. Because like, I already know because I was watching this live.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, definitely you have to hit Malcolm or the Buccaneer or you just lose the game.
Yeah, you got to hit one or the other for sure. Yeah. Now we casting a Mystical Tutor.
Didn't see if they paid the 2 for the archaic trigger.
I don't see why they would with an op agent in play. Dress down different didn't resolve, so op agent still works.
Yeah, but if the Wandering Archaic gets a copy, then they can target the op agent. But I guess they could just replay the op agent because they have enough mana.
The slip out the back, right. Well, it's not going to bounce it. It's going to phase it out.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
You're
It's
right.
phasing. Okay.
So. Yep.
They really should pay the 2
correct.
here. It looks like the number of treasures they paid for that tutor was 3. Of course, the Mystical Tutor could be on the stack on top and slip out the back as well. So I'm not sure if they did pay the 2 for Wandering Archaic to do the...
Slip out the back. It's the first time I've seen that card.
The first time I seen it was a couple days ago. I was very surprised by it. It was really, really cool. They used it to get rid of a Janeth Magistrate, which was very...
Isn't there like a charm card that does the same thing as that?
Potentially.
Like Emerald Charm or something like that?
Potentially.
Has 3 modes and one of them is it phases out a creature.
No, take a look and see if I can find one.
If you're watching this chat, you can comment in the comment section down below and let me know what card that was that I'm thinking of.
I'm looking at the charms. I see like an exile target creature.
I think there's a blue charm that phases out. It has 3 modes. Mystical Tutor for an Entomb. Top
You
of the
said
library.
it was blue.
I think either blue or green.
Blue or green. You're narrowing it down here, buddy. You're narrowing it down here. Watch me not find it anyways.
Yeah. Actually, it's black. More politicking going on.
There's a lot of politicking going on in the game, which is why we had to step in and almost threaten to slow play the whole table. Yeah. It's very, very, very interesting politics going on here. Like, these players are talking out. They're playing just as much a verbal game as they are a paper game here. Like, you'd be surprised, like, when you get to the top levels of cEDH and you play games like this, exactly how much politics truly, truly matters.
Okay, so he chose the Malcolm to phase out the Malcolm.
Yeah, like I said, I kind of cheated and I knew that, which is why I didn't want to like.
Oh. You know what's gonna happen?
I know who wins if that makes you feel any better, but we're gonna.
Oh, I know who wins too.
Oh, spoiler alert!
Spoilers.
Is it the vampires? We'll find out. I guess anybody watching this video probably isn't a not top channel, but we're just gonna keep right out of spoilers just in case. Because some people like me like to like watch the VODs and like get mad when they see like it's like a best of 5 and you got 1 video for each video and then you only see 3 videos and I just get mad and I don't even want to watch it because I know it's gonna end. Like, which one do I watch? Because I only get to watch one and not know who wins.
I hate when you watch like a sports video and then they have like the score in the title of the video and it's like, oh, you just ruined the whole thing. I wanted to know who was gonna win.
Sapphire Charm.
What color is it?
Blue.
Yes.
Choose one. Target player draws a card at the beginning of the next turn's upkeep, or target creature and opponent control phases out, or target creature gains flying until end of turn.
And it costs 1?
1 blue. and it looks nothing like Slip Out the Back.
Wonder
Well,
why they would run
maybe-
Slip Out the Back instead. Wonder if there's something to do with the +1/+1 counter, maybe? That's relevant somehow.
Maybe?
Otherwise, I would just run the other card.
Yeah, because it seems like strictly better, right?
Yeah,
Either that or Sapphire Charm is just so old people have forgotten about it.
that could be.
Well, looks like the vampire's having problems with the cameras. Makes sense since they don't.
Look at all the cards hanging out on the side that they're ready to slip in their deck.
Yeah.
I mean,
It also makes sense because, you know, vampires don't like mirrors, so why would they like cameras?
oh yeah. I mean, we can see their hands shuffling though, so we know they're using some sort of special camera.
Oh, he's shuffling them cards hardcore, ain't he? It's like, watch this.
I usually try to be as gentle as possible with my cards.
So, Joe is clearly bored out of his mind.
Yeah.
This kid is wondering, like, how many more cards are you gonna let me draw? Vocals is going like, how many cards do I have in hand? 7. And Vampire's like, I got a turn!
It's gotta be the worst for Joe.
Demonic Tutor, Trigger Esper. Oh, Consecrated Sphinx is the card that was phased out with Slip Out the Back from
Yeah.
Vocals copy, so that was a very good target. Biscuit's probably got enough cards in hand right now.
Alright, so what are we gonna detutor here for if this resolves?
If this resolves for Demonic Tutor, you don't have enough mana to. Well, you have enough mana to cast Evelyn, but you don't have enough mana to do anything afterwards. So if you're gonna Demonic Tutor, depending on your hand, I guess you just want more interaction to kind of stall the board until you can get to a spot where you can win.
I think. Oh, silence.
Oh.
Okay, so
It doesn't
previous
matter.
end step. Yeah. Previous end step, they mystical tutored for an entomb. So my guess is detutor would be for like an animate dead here, so they can entomb World Gorger and then animate dead on World Gorger.
Either that or you Demonic Tutor for an Underworld Breach and you entomb the Sabine's Reclamation. Or something like that. So you can play it back and forth. The Lion's Eye Diamond, you can keep discarding your card. Doesn't he have Wheel in his graveyard still?
He does, yeah.
Yeah, so you get...
Or she. I'm not sure if they're...
Right. Evelyn will, they can get the Underworld Breach, they can entomb the Lion's Eye Diamond, and they can cast Wheel of Fortune a bunch of times until they get to the Brain Freeze. And go off from there, but Joe with the clutch silence there just gave himself at least one more turn to probably do not a whole lot of nothing.
The thing is with Evelyn, it has flash, so you could still possibly win like on someone else's upkeep.
Yeah, Evelyn has flash, but the important part is like Underworld Breach doesn't. Lion's Eye Diamond doesn't.
Yeah, so
You know what I mean?
they'd have to get like a necromancy here, where they could flash in the necro. So they entomb, which is instant. Put World Gorger in the graveyard. Flash in necromancy to bring it out of the graveyard to do the animate dead loop.
But for
and
infinite
then-
mana.
Yeah, and then Evelyn has flash, so you could cast that as well.
Yeah. And then once you get an infinite mana, you can start doing infinite ETBs with Evelyn.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Exactly.
And you can do that whenever.
Yes.
That's really cool. I like that. I've never been a big fan of the War Gorger Dragon Loops because they're so easily interruptible, you know, like
Yeah, that's
one
not the greatest.
good time removal spell and you just have a 7/7 and nothing else and then you just lost the game. But I guess the 7/7 beater's not terrible, but why are we showing the hand here?
Well, I think if the silence resolved, that's what I would have. I'd go get the necromancy and then pass the turn and then try to win in Joe's
Yeah, could you Entomb?
upkeep, or wait till Joe
Does he have
passes
enough
something?
black mana for Necromancy Entomb though? It looks like he's only got access to 2 black mana right now.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I think that's what his problem.
One from the land and then one from.
Yeah, so 1 for Entomb, 1 from the land. But once he gets, because he's gonna have to cast the Entomb. Yeah, he got enough mana for that. Necromancy's 1 and a white, isn't it?
Necromancy's 1 black and then 2 generic.
Yeah, so he's got enough mana to pay for it for sure. For sure. It's pretty nice when playing a Grixis that can win at instant speed though, because like you get all the best combos in the game, and you get the War Gorger package on top of that. You know what I mean? So it's got to be a pretty good deck then.
Usually, like you don't want to play World Gorger because, like you said, you could just screw you over.
But the ability to win instant speed, you know, as a frog player is like king to my heart, you know, because I love the fact that you know having a deck that just can just win out of nowhere, you know, like Yeba, Gitrog, a couple others, just you always threatening a win.
Yeah. Being able to win on top of someone else's win is great.
Yeah. I was watching an MLC game, and guy's commander was a Shaya, and like being part of the Shaya server or the Yeba server, I was like, he had like 10 mana and he just passed his turn like twice in a row. I was like, he's obviously holding Yeba. Somebody tries to win the game, it's Yeba, Shaya try to win the game on top of it. And sure enough, he tried to win on top of somebody and got countered.
Joe is doing some politicking.
Is that Ranger Captain? Yeah, non-creature spells.
Yep. I think in response here, you'd have to cast the Entomb if that's your line that you're going for. Otherwise, he'll just silence you when you try to go for it if it's resolved already.
Yeah, because you have to make sure you have a target and you have to have the creature in your graveyard. So we're probably going to see that Entomb here. Light show, Joe.
Joe's repping the cEDH Brazil playmat, which is very nice.
There it is, Entomb. Yep. It looked kind of like Star Wars playmat, but I couldn't really see it very much. So cEDH Brazil, pretty cool stuff down there, huh? What did they do?
They play some very turbo meta. You've got Kill Stars. If you remember Kill Stars from the Final Four.
Yeah, I was actually sitting on the Final Four pod myself too. So
I think it's Maestro. Maestro is also cEDH Brazil.
And I know there's a cEDH Portugal league that's over there taking care of the tier 1 con kind of stuff over there. Monarch's helping out with that. A lot of table talk going on here. Lots and lots of table talk.
TCM is sitting on a fat stack
If
of
you
cards
can turn this game into like one sentence, this game is politics wins games. You know what I'm saying? Because
either that or drawing cards.
well, I can tell you, like, because you know, like I was listening to these players as they were playing this game live. Like I was in there and I was hearing it, and I can tell you that this game was won with a tongue.
One of the reasons I don't really play too much in tournaments is because after a little bit of politicking, I'm just like, all right, I can't take any more of this.
Yeah, I've lost so many games to politics. I can't tell you how many games I've lost to politics. Try not to just like put it out of my mind, but like the ones that are really good just kind of do it so subtly that like you don't know you're making a bad play, and then you make it, and you're like, how did I not see that?
Yeah.
You know, there's a couple of people that are like just really good at politics, and like every time I play, like I've played with them a couple times now, and like I know if I ever play with them again, just to fucking tell them like look, just let me do my thing. You're just gonna tell me to do something I don't want to do anyways.
Yeah. They give you advice, so you
I
just do the
should.
opposite of what they
Well,
say.
one of the times they talked me into forgetting something because like my creatures phased out, but they were supposed to phase back in, and like I didn't phase my creatures back in. But if I had, I would have the mana to win the game. But because I wasn't paying attention, I didn't. I was like, oh, I don't have any black mana, you know. And it's like all they had to do is be like, you have your creatures, you know. But you know,
Is that a something
it's
you
not.
can miss? I don't know.
It's not. But I did
To,
miss it, and it wasn't pointed out that I missed it. It wasn't a competitive game or anything like that. But like,
okay.
you know, this is why I judge not play because I'm terrible at this game. And two, it's still
Here, if I was the Evelyn player, I would be like,
can we pass priority, please?
don't interact in here, unless if you're gonna do something to stop this Buccaneer from winning the game.
I think if I was the Evelyn person here, I'd be like, okay, stop, Joe. Do you pass priority on into? You know, just like go down the line because at this point, the spell needs to resolve. Oh.
Yeah, that's not going to resolve
Mental
with the also archaic getting.
The fact that that land's upside down just tells you how much of a boss Joe really is.
He's like, do not use this land. There's an op agent in play.
That's probably why.
Turn it upside down. Yeah.
That's probably why. I remember playing a game against a Deathbright Shaman, and they were stuck on mana, and so nobody was playing fetch lands, and then somebody put down a Yabamaya, and so everybody started playing out their fetch lands and tapping them for green. I was like, this is really crappy, but it's also really proper, you know what I mean? I think.
Or if someone has like a Urborg.
Yep. I think if you're the Evelyn player here, I think you try and protect this, right?
No, there's no way that would resolve. Because you have to fight through 2 missteps because of the archaic.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
There's no way that you can.
Yeah, because there's no reason for Joe to pay for the archaic there either.
Yeah.
That Wandering Archaic is such a good card, man. So good.
I think it saw quite a bit of play in this tournament.
Yeah. Vocals had it out a couple times. I've seen it in a couple.
Killstars had it out as well.
I've seen it in a couple games as I was popping in and out of games. Yeah, I saw a lot of partner commanders here. One of the commanders that I saw a lot of that surprised me was Tymna. Tymna was in a lot of games.
Yeah.
I was very surprised to see Tymna, but then like I played a couple of games against Tymna, and I was like, oh, this is why Tymna is good. He's just a monster. Like he's just a monster you can't generally deal with.
Like almost like a Crom, sort of, in the same role that it's 5 mana and can draw you some cards.
Yep. And the difference between Tymna and Crom though is Tymna is harder to interact with. Because most things.
Yes and no. I mean, you'd have to like swing creatures into it.
Right. And you know, most things that say destroy target creature don't have Planeswalker tagged onto that too. You know what I'm saying? And then a lot of the removal in the format is CMC based. You know, like Abrupt Decay and stuff. And Tymna is way higher than that. You know, I don't even know if Abrupt Decay could hit Planeswalker, but you get the idea. It's very hard to deal with. It's one of those cards I really need to learn how to interact with and play against better. Kind of like Oko. Oko's another card that just.
Yeah, Oko can be definitely really rough if someone gets it out on like turn 1 or turn 2. It's just like,
I lost.
guess I'm not playing heavy
we
creatures.
lost to a Revi deck, and it was just like turn 2 Oko, Thief of Crowns, and they had a what was that other card on there? There was another card they had that I can't remember what it was, but it was stopping us from interacting with it because like I could handle the Revi player with what I had. I was playing stacks, and I could handle the Revi player. The problem was like anything that I played to handle the Derevi player was a creature that was just going to become an elk the next turn before it could handle the Derevi player, you know? So, and Derevi kind of ran away with that game, that's for sure.
Joe pops the Ranger Captain.
On Biscuit's turn, I believe.
Yeah,
so Biscuit can't win. And so you had the silence from Joe on the Evelyn player, then you had Joe's turn, who just couldn't do a whole lot. And then he pops the Ranger Captain here on Biscuit, which leaves Vocal open to all the interaction that Evelyn and Malcolm have. But I'm just curious as to how well that's going to work out, considering there's a Wandering Archaic on the board.
Yeah.
You know, so Joe kind of like just like, you're not going to win, I'm not going to win, Biscuit's not going to win. We all got to team up with Vocals, because if we don't, you know, I'm not exactly sure what was being said here, but I'm just saying like that's kind of what I'm seeing is happening here, right?
Yeah, it's kind of rough. It's like you're playing not to lose, but you're not playing to win the game.
Right. We still don't know what that phantasmal image is.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
We still have no idea what, because I haven't seen him drop a single S%
Yeah.
on this trigger.
Same.
So I guess at this point it's a Malcolm.
If it was a Malcolm, why aren't you like swinging with it? Maybe I'm gonna say it's a second op agent.
It's a good guess as any.
If you would have held onto it, it could have been a Con Sphinx, and then you could just be drawing a whole bunch of cards.
Yeah. Con Sphinx is back in play because it's phased back in now, so now it's a problem again. More politics going on here. You still got the Malcolm Glenhorn combo to deal with at beginning of next turn.
Yep.
You gotta feel bad for Joe. He hasn't been able to do nothing this game.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Then you got Biscuit, who just...
I mean, the silence was good, but...
Yeah, the double silence was good too.
I think when you're this far behind, you just have to let the other players deal with the threats instead of you being the one to deal with it.
That's fair. So, like, are you saying that if you were in Joe's position, beginning of Jayla's turn, he cast the Monarch Tutor, are you going to silence there, or you're just going to kind of let it go?
I mean, you're that far behind. You use your interaction to stop them. Like, you're not winning. So I might just let it go.
You could also like let them get a little bit further on in the loop. You know, like, okay, cast your Entomb, so now that spell's useless. You know, you could at least possibly wait a spell or two if you decided to do it at all. But that's actually a really interesting theory, because, like, you know that the other two players are most certainly sitting on some type of interaction here. Right? Well, this Pact of Negation
Biscuit has so many cards.
It's very interesting here, this Pact of Negation, because if you pay for Wandering Archaic, they can counter your Pact of Negation, right? But if you don't pay for Wandering Archaic, then Vocalist has a Pact trigger at the beginning of his turn, which would shut it pretty hard.
What spell is he pacting?
That's the problem. I don't see one. I don't see a spell that's even on the stack. I don't see a card somewhere that we didn't notice before. whatever it is, he's paying the One Ring Archaic to not copy the pact. But I'm still not sure what we're playing Pact of Negation on. We might have to go back through it and see what spell that was on, because I can't tell.
I'm sure we'll.
What's that card on the top of Vocal's library? What's that card there?
There's a snap there, but I think that's been sitting there for a while.
On top of his graveyard. Yeah.
Maybe it is in response to this snap.
Yeah. Because that would be an interesting play, like play a spell. Well, I guess Archaic's a May trigger, isn't it? May.
Yeah, it's a May.
Yeah, so he doesn't have. Yeah, snap. He's packing the snap. And that's why he paid for the 2. So that way he wouldn't get his own pack to just counter it.
I did like the idea of, like you said, not paying for it, and then they have to tap out to pay the pack trigger. That would at least.
Yeah, it's an interesting.
Take
It's an interesting scenario, you know. Yeah, 'cause it would take him off 5 mana, and then he almost certainly would not have enough mana to go dumpster with Malcolm. But then I guess Malcolm could just hit Joe. But is that is one pirate hit enough to start the Glenhorn combo?
I mean, you could do it without any hits. You just have to pay the two mana while you're in combat. So.
Right, but what I'm saying is like he would have to pay the pack trigger, which would leave him.
Oh, okay,
mana open.
yeah.
And then Malcolm would hit Joe, which would give him 2 mana. Is that enough to start the loop, or?
Yeah, let's see. You've got Crypt, 2 lands.
Oh, you do have Crypt. I missed Crypt.
Chrome.
Yeah, I missed Crypt.
Yeah, you have enough.
Yeah, he's got enough, so that it would stop him from anything else, but it wouldn't stop him from winning with the attack combat.
The longer this game goes, the more strong my suspicion is that it's gonna go back to legit, and no one's gonna have an answer to just straight up Malcolm Buccaneer.
Yeah, that's the problem. Like, this game has gone so long. There's been so much interaction. There's been so much stuff. I mean, people are eventually just gonna run out.
Yeah.
And that's why like the table talk is so real here, because you got to make sure that the people that are interacting with the spells that you want them to interact with, not that they should be interacting with. You know. Red Elemental Blast.
Yeah. So if you're at this table and legit is politicking his way, like on what people should do here, you just have to say in response that they're presenting a win on board when it gets to their turn. So if you interact here, you also need to be able to interact with their thing. Otherwise, we just lose the game.
Right, and that's probably what legit was saying on everybody else's turn, trying to keep them away from being like, don't worry about me, worry about them.
Yeah.
You know. And
wow, there goes all of Biscuit's board state. With a double Pyroblast. Joe says, I'm out of here.
How did Kediss die?
So I think it got snapped back to his hand.
Okay, yeah. Snapped card Kediss. Pyroblast. Yeah.
Double Pyro.
I remember there was a phantasmal image in play, and it was a copy of something, and I targeted the normal thing, and one of the players after it was like, why didn't you just target the Fimage? Because you could have just killed the Fimage and it would have certainly been dead, you know? I was like, that's so true. But again, that's why I'm a judge, not a player, because I'm terrible at this game.
Image, probably a Dockside to get a little bit of mana back.
He's going to need the mana back, especially for next turn, because if he doesn't, he's just going to die to his pack trigger. Because he's got to hold 5 mana open, he's only got 3 lands. So out of those 6 treasures, he only has 4 available. Because if he doesn't save them, he just dies.
Oh yeah, he has to pay the pact. Yep, you're right. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. He went down to 1.
Good.
For something. Maybe he's going for broke because he thinks Vokalka's going to have it next turn. He's deciding not to. He could, even, you know, if he still has something else he can do. But isn't he? No, he's not. He's still under the effects of Ranger Captain, mind. Isn't he?
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yep.
So how did he cast Pact if he was under the effect of Ranger Captain? Very complicated game here.
Not sure. Maybe
they probably all missed it.
The snap might have been in response to the Ranger Captain.
Yeah, that's probably what happened. Ranger Captain was still on stat during the whole thing. That's something that could have happened, and considering we had like 2 judge watching in this game, that's probably what happened.
Well, I hope they keep some cards to stop Malcolm Buccaneer from winning the game.
Yeah, it looks like we're discarding hand size here from Biscuit. It's probably going to be a crap load of lands. I mean, they did draw a lot of cards there.
Did they play a land for turn?
I don't think they did, no. But a turn that long, that interactive with that much talking, you know, it's...
Yeah, it wears you down.
It does, you know, like, even like if you hadn't been playing, you know, 4 games already, you know, because you got to think, like, at this point in the tournament, these players had been playing since like 9 o'clock in the morning. Well, 9 o'clock Central Time for me, anyways. They've been playing for like 8 hours. You know what I'm saying? 8-9 hours. And, you know, it doesn't really matter how good you are. It doesn't matter how good you are at politicking. And, like, after that much time, you're tired. You're mentally tired. You're physically tired. You're exhausted. And you still got 2 more rounds to go, hoping you make the top 4, you know? And so you're going to play a lot worse in round 5 than you did in round 1.
Definitely.
A lot goes into the mental and physical stamina you take into a tournament.
So it looks like they're gonna cast something.
They're gonna They're gonna cast something or drop half their library into their graveyard.
Well, they were at 6 treasures and then they went down to 4.
Yeah, so they're gonna cast something. Looks like some kind of creature.
We're on the sun. Whole bunch of lands.
After not playing a land per turn.
Like they discarded Narset's Reversal, Deflecting Swat.
Imperial Recruiter there too. Why would they discard Deflecting Swat? No one focuses. I don't know. Like I said, these players are tired at this point. You know, they've been playing a lot of Magic, and the format we play in is very fun, very interactive, but it's also very challenging. Ooh, Necromancy here. What would you cast the Necromancy targeting?
It's got to be something to interact with this Malcolm Buccaneer combo.
And
Ranger Captain doesn't do it.
And an interesting point here, like Necromancy doesn't target till it enters the battlefield. So like they have no idea what it's targeting at this point. it could literally target anything. It could target the Consecrated Sphinx, the Ranger Captain, whatever else you have.
I think,
Yeah, we actually had 2 judge calls on this card. Right here.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah, we had 2.
the oracle text on it is
Yeah, like they asked me, I was like, "You're gonna have to wait, give me a minute," and I like looked it up, and I was like, "Y'all guys can help me out here. Y'all are better judges than I am." I remember getting a headache reading necromancy in the rulings, trying to answer what the questions they were asking, and one of them was when it does a target, which is when it's entered, when it enters the battlefield. And the other one was honestly, I can't remember what the other one was. Oh, if it's bounced, if necromancy is bounced before the ETB resolves, does the creature come back? And the answer is no, because there's no duration. Or is that backwards? Just thinking about the necromancy ruling is making my head hurt again. Thanks for bringing back these memories, Kahlua.
I think did you volunteer for this assignment?
I did, but I didn't realize it was the necromancy question again.
The only target here would be like the spell seeker that could get you some sort of free interaction.
100% what they're targeting here is the Ranger Captain. That's exactly what they're fighting over, because the way they figured it, I can't remember exactly what the reasoning was, but the way they figured is, at least if they do Ranger Captain, vocals can't interact with them.
Yeah, it shuts off the other 2 players from interacting though.
Your opponents can't cast non-creature spells, so like it puts Jalith into the position to where if Vocals tries to do anything, he can interact with Vocals, and Vocals can't do anything about it.
It's true, but they're tapped out, so they would have to have some sort of free removal.
Yeah, that's true. And I think there's only a couple free removal.
Slaughter Pact.
Slaughter Pact, Snuff Out. I think there's a couple more.
I mean, if you got that in hand, it's not a bad line. But if you don't have that, you'd have to. I would not target that, because otherwise it just stops everyone else from doing it.
Yeah, but like I said earlier, at this point these players are tired, and they have been politicking themselves to death. Is that 20 cards in hand for Vocals?
It's a lot.
6, 12, 16.
Nobody's been paying the heuristic studies.
Good lord.
16 cards. Oh, got a Imperial Recruiter. Looks like being pulled out of the graveyard. Yeah, I think you'd have to get the Spell Seeker, and then if you don't have interaction in hand, you have to get the Spell Seeker for a cheap removal or Slaughter Pact or something like that. Let's see how much time we have left. Ooh, we're getting towards the end. 10 more minutes. Thanks for sticking with us, everyone who is still listening.
Everybody's getting excited because we're getting close to the end. Will it be the pirates or will it be the vampires? We're about to find out. I still vote pirates. Oh, wait, vampires. I still vote vampires.
A tough one.
Not really, but really.
Did you ever watch, what was it? Like Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter?
I heard about it, thought it was the stupidest thing I ever heard, and never watched it. I was like, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. I'm not watching it, and then I never watched it.
What's your favorite vampire movie?
Vampire movie?
Yeah.
Oh. Hell, I don't even know.
How about, do you have a favorite
If I had
undead / and/or pirate movie?
If I had to pick for vampires, it'd be Underworld. For sure.
Underworld,
yeah,
okay.
For pirates, it'd obviously be Pirates of the Caribbean. I love that freaking movie.
first one, of course.
Yeah, I love all of them, but the first one's obviously the best one. I love all of them. I love those pirate movies. I know they're Disney. I don't care. I love them anyways. I'm gonna be stuck remembering that the rest of my life because it's gonna be on YouTube Glory. Oh, what have I done to myself?
Looks like it was targeting the recruiter. We're gonna search for
Yes.
creature that will not do anything.
What creature is that?
It's a vampire for 1. I think when it ETBs, you make a blood token.
That's not gonna help.
Yes, not gonna help.
Not gonna help at all. But hey, he's got it.
Yep, this is gonna be game.
Mox Diamond. Discarding a land. Drawing off Esper.
What is that?
Tapped Mana Crypt. I think that's Mask with Nexus, I believe. Is that what that card is?
No, I don't know. I don't know that art.
Or is that the spell Skype that got bounced?
Or yeah, but isn't there's like a what's that land? Oh, is that the? There was like a Care Bear secret lair.
Yeah, that's a command
Is that
tower,
what
I
that
think.
is?
Command tower,
I'll have to
Man of
look at it
Confluence,
after
one of those rainbow lands.
Yeah.
Mayhem Devil.
Yeah, this will be game here because
Yeah, they put out the spell Sky. They put out the Mayhem Devil.
you've got both the Buccaneer combo and then there's another combo where you turn your Mayhem Devil into a pirate. So when you sack a treasure, it makes a treasure.
Force of Will. Pitching a Mystic Remora.
I'm just sad that people didn't politic into saying that there was a win on board.
Yeah, like I said, this game was definitely won by skill of the tongue. Lightning Bolt, paying 2 life to target this guy.
So it looks like they cast Force of Will, but weren't able to pay Wandering Archaic,
Correct.
so it just got countered. Then this bolt will get spell skited away.
Spellskite won't even die because Spellskite's 4 toughness.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
hurts. Definitely hurts.
We're removing a comp.
Buccaneer is also 4 toughness, I think, right?
Let's find out.
It's a 2/4. Not sure.
2/4, yep. So it wouldn't kill Buccaneer. It would kill Malcolm.
They waited too long.
They waited too long and they made a lot of mistakes. You know, good politicking and being exhausted can do that. You know, just the fact that these players are here in the top 16 pod out of 112 players is a testament to exactly how capable these players are. You know, like they didn't get here by accident. You know, you don't survive 4 rounds of Swiss and by accident. You know, like these guys, they know what they're doing. They're very good players. They're very capable. What is that blue card there?
Brainstorm.
Oh, yeah, Brainstorm.
They crack any more treasures, they'll be unable to pay for their pact. Joe can't search with the Delta because of the Oppo.
And it's not like the opposition agents may either, you know, like you control them. Like you gotta do the thing.
Yeah.
And getting rid of the opposition agent, you can't do that because you ain't got no mana. And then if you get rid of the opposition agent, you open up legit vocals with 12 plus cards in hand to make the world his oyster, you know, so they've kind of backed themselves into a corner here.
Plus I'm saying the Phantasmal Image is a second top agent. So
Yeah, that's true too. So you don't have two of them. Vocals demonstrating the loop.
This hurts twice as much because as you crack the treasures to pay for the Buccaneer ability, it'll also ping with the Mayhem Devil.
There's no chance that the math works except where they survive here.
What do you think they could have done differently to stop this from happening?
To stop this from happening, you'd have to go back a couple turns, I think. They'd have to politic better, I believe, talk amongst themselves and actually realize what the real threat at the table was, because the Evelyn player was threatening a win, but I don't think Biscuit or Joe, either one of them would have come close to winning that turn. So they had to stop the Evelyn player. They had to do that, because obviously they would have won without interaction. But I just think that they could try to politic better, and they can play around their own interaction better and kind of like help each other out a little more to keep the game state from getting that bad in the first place. Because I think like 2 turns ago, Vocals had the game won already.
Yeah.
I think it's just a matter of time, and I think, like you said, Doe spending the interaction with Silence and your captain was potentially the incorrect play there. Like, Silence for the Evelyn player was probably good. You know what I'm saying? Because obviously, but then again, the interaction goes away. It's very complicated.
Well, congrats to Legit for making it into the top 4. Let's do some outros. Captain Complicated, where can the people find you, or do you want them to find you at all?
Not anymore, because the Vampires won. I mean, the Pirates won, and that makes me very sad. But if you want to find me, you can find me chilling out on the Monarch Discord server. Monarch cards, you can check them out on YouTube. The internet, Monarch Dark Cards, and check us out. Oktoberfest, Philadelphia, into November. St. Jude's Children's Hospital, we need you. Come help us out and do all that good stuff. And
awesome.
Other than that, you can beat the crap out of me on Magic on the Nexus server anytime you want to.
All right. I'm Ka0s. You can find me on YouTube. I do some YouTube videos under it's youtube.com/Ka0s. There's an extra U at the end because Ka0s was already taken. You can find me on Twitter at Lua_Ka0s. And also on the Nexus, usually playing a game every now and then. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the top 4. You can watch the main stream, and take it easy.